Experience. We all learn and sometimes take decision based on our past experience. Now, there's nothing wrong in looking at the past, but the way you look sometimes can be a challenge. For instance, when you look at our past, and it happens sometimes, not all the time, what happens is the way we interpret the past also matters. Like sometimes our past mistakes overpower us and we tend to focus on our mistakes more than anything else. Like the time when I tried to speak in English, I failed, or the question that was asked of me and I couldn't answer, or the word I mispronounced. Yeah, मेरे को मीटिंग में पूछा सबके सामने and I couldn't speak at all. So that means I won't be able to speak anything ever. Yeah? Understandable? And or how people usually perceive me. They don't think I am confident, or maybe they think, and this they think and the society becomes too heavy, okay, on our mind. We begin to think more about that instead of about our own growth and about our own mindset. And thus we tend to focus on our disappointments more than the issue. See, this all is a part of your mindset because they are actually shaping it up. So when I say emotions, prejudice, and experience, all of this are shaping your mindset. What does that mean? That means that this is where I am stuck and now I need to rewire or reset my mindset so that I can now learn how to overcome these emotions and prejudice. And how can I actually look at my past and think of digging out gold from it instead of feeling ashamed of it? Making sense, everyone? एक slide देखते हैं, ठीक है? Now, when you look at this slide, what do you see? You see a butterfly, yes, but a shadow of a butterfly and a caterpillar, right? What does it mean? Well, simple. A caterpillar eventually will become butterfly, right? Simple analogy. But do you know that this caterpillar will only turn into a butterfly? Like a tree will only grow tall as much as a tree can be. But your growth, ladies and gentlemen, your growth is decided by your own mindset. So the tree has its limit, only till that extent it can grow. But a caterpillar will only turn into a butterfly. But you, ladies and gentlemen, you can be whatever you want to be. All right. So our situations, our surroundings really does not matter if your mindset is correct, if you're thinking correct. All right. People will tell me a lot of times that I work hard, but let me tell you this. Working hard is not an issue. Everybody works hard. It's thinking hard that matters. Can you think better? Can you think about yourself better? Because that's the only way. When you reshape your mindset, when you reset your mindset, okay, what will happen then? Then you'll be able to use these tools effectively, because till now, okay, whatever that we have learned in school or in colleges have helped us so much. But I'll tell you what, you already are winners. I'll tell you why. Because you decided to invest in yourself when others did not. That separates you already from the crowd. So you are a step above. Now what you need to do? Now you need to make sure that you continue to climb the ladder. That is it. How would you reset your mind? Well, in the coming slide you will see. But the real challenge will be, are you ready? Are you ready to reset your mindset? Right? Okay, good. So let's move on and understand how to reshape our mindset. Let's begin and understand how to reshape our mindset. But before that, it is a challenge. Okay? So I would like you to pay extra attention to this, because we are going to discover and discuss three things. Number one, how to lead the emotions and not be led by one. Okay? Number two, overcoming prejudice, because वो important है and we will learn how to. And number three is, of course, learn from experience. That is how to dig out the gold that we have from our past. ठीक है, तो आगे बढ़ते हैं और शुरू करते हैं लीडिंग इमोशंस से. देखिए, there are two kinds of people. One who is led by emotions and the other one who leads the emotion. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll watch a small clipping Okay, एक short video देखेंगे of two of the most powerful leaders of today's world, and let's see the contrast. Okay, and then what we'll do is we will discuss how it was. Just remember, if you are in control of your emotions, you are considered very cool, and if you are not in control of your emotions, you are considered emotional. Okay, so just remember that what I told you. Let's watch the video.
I'd only been Foreign Secretary a few days, and I imagined that this was going to be a fairly normal, business-like summit. In fact, it turned out to be a moment when NATO was probably in the greatest peril it's ever been in its history.
The president just started right out. He went person to person, and he knew what they were not doing, and so he called them out. It was very tense.
Trump put Angela Merkel right on the spot. He was on the warpath and tore strips off Germany with, I think, real anger.
He said, we're there defending you. And by the way, we've got a huge trade deficit with you, but we're there defending you and you're not paying enough for it.
It was based on the fact that Germany didn't spend anything like as much as America on defense as a proportion of its GDP, was building a gas pipeline to Russia that was going to make Russia very rich, and also had a trade surplus with the United States. These three things came together and they set Trump off.
Trump called the other NATO members deadbeats who owed their freedom to America. Then he said that if they didn't pay up, the US would go its own way.
He combined the attacks on Germany, very tough attacks on Germany, with some warning about NATO's future as a whole. Nobody believed or could imagine that the United States, which was seen as the leader of the free world, would put that basic commitment into question.
Merkel sat there very calmly. When it was her turn to speak, she just very softly said, "No one needs to talk to me about freedom. I grew up in East Germany under the Soviet Union. I know what it's like not to have freedom." You could not get a bigger contrast in personality between the fiery, emotional, rambling President Trump and the cool, calm Angela Merkel.
Wow, what a contrast. I mean, two of the world's biggest leaders in a summit like that. On one hand, you have Trump, who comes across as emotional or fiery and rumbling person. And on the other hand, you have Merkel, who comes across as cool and calm. But Kat, ye bataiye, what do you think who was in control of their emotions? Rather, who was leading their emotion? Was it Trump or was it Merkel? Write down in the comment section below, okay? इसको आप pause कर दीजिए यहाँ पे and write down in the comment section, who do you think was in control of their emotions? Okay, now moving on. So what do we learn from this? देखिए, both the leaders would have come prepared for this summit. They would have prepared their speeches. They would have known what they're going to say. But Merkel did not know what Trump is going to say. So in contrast, she comes across as someone who is in control of her emotions. Because despite Trump's rumbling and finger pointing speech, she decides to calmly respond to it. Now, she could have been overwhelmed by it. She could have reacted to it. She could have also acted the same way with the same fiery and rumbling way, but she decided to be cool and calm. Now imagine if she would have done that, then the outcome of this summit would have been very different, isn't it? See, it takes two to fight. Okay, it takes two to fight. So she decided to calm herself down. Instead of reacting to the situation, she decided to calm herself down. So what do we learn from this? Well, don't get overwhelmed by the situation, or rather, don't get overwhelmed by the storm outside. or even inside you. Calm yourself down. How do we calm ourselves down? Well, next slide में देखते हैं. But इस slide के लिए, I hope you have got the message. In order to lead the emotions, you gotta be in control of those emotions. Correct? Let's move on. Be calm. Being calm and being happy are almost the same thing. That is, it's just a state of mind. See, usually people draw their calmness from their environment or their surrounding, from friends or their pets or family or kids. And what happens when there is a disturbance in these outside factors? Well, you are robbed of your calmness. Your true calmness should come from within, because what comes from within gives you the grace and the strength to overpower the outside factors. And that is when there is a situation or your surrounding is challenged, you do not lose your calmness, because you're not drawing your calmness from the outside world. You're not drawing your calmness from the surrounding or the environment. Remember that video that we saw. Now, Merkel did not draw her calmness from what is being said or the environment or how the surroundings were. She drew her calmness from within. See how she responded? Cool and calm. Now, if it comes from within, like I said, it will give you the grace and strength to overpower the outside factors. That is the true sense of calmness. But how do we get there? Well, there are various ways, because how to be calm is to each its own. Okay, so there is no guaranteed way, because what may work with you may not work with the others. Like, not everybody can meditate, okay, or pray. But pray and meditate is one of the ways through which people can strive for calmness. Or you can read the good book and then you can reflect. Like I said, it works differently with different folks. So find out your way, what works with you and what calms you down. It could be a soothing music while you meditate. But again, completely up to you. So go seek out what calms you down. Okay? There is an old proverb. Even a fool is considered wise when he holds his tongue. Take time to respond. When something is being directed at you, pointed at you, spoken about you, take time to respond. Take any established leader or orator. Whenever a difficult question is posed at them, they take time to respond. They don't jump at it. They take time to respond. They reflect on it. Now, how does that help? When you take time, you actually give yourself time to construct better thoughts and sentences. And thus, it gives you that edge over that awkward moment or a difficult question. Remember Donald Trump and Angela Merkel's video that we saw? She took her time, isn't it? Remember, if you're taking time to think, chances are you will always be on top of the situation. Instead, the situation ruling over you. It is when you don't give yourself time is when you let your emotions lead you. But when you choose to think, you give yourself that boost to overcome that emotion. And hence, you control that emotion. Okay? Good. Let's move on to rate of speech. Talking with calmness always go hand in hand with rate of speech. Now, if you are in control of your rate of speech, you will always sound speaking with calmness and confidence. Well, there is no perfect rate of speech. As per speakingclearly.com, the average words per minute of a person should be between 140 to 160. However, how would you time yourself? For this, I have made an exercise for you that you will find in this module. Okay? Do that exercise and clock yourself. Count the number of words that you've spoken in a minute. Now, if you are going over 180 words or over 160 words per minute, then you need to calm yourself down, control your rate of speech, and read it one more time. However, if you're reading at below 120, then you're reading it awfully slow. Okay, so practice that and it will help you overcome the rate of speech fear. All right, now, but what else? How can I control my rate of speech? Well, 3 simple steps. Number 1, time yourself. The exercise that I made for you, time yourself. See how you're doing. And accordingly, either increase or decrease your rate of speech. Point number 2, pause management. So pause management is easier said than done. I'll teach you a little later, right after this slide that is, how to pause effectively. But know this, when you take a pause, it gives you that moment to think. Remember we were talking about taking time to think? Well, that is what you do. That's a pause. So you pause before you answer, you go back, recollect what you have to say, gather your thoughts, and then speak. How? I'll tell you. And towards the end, breathe. Most importantly. Let's carry on. Okay, here's a little word of advice for everybody, okay? I've specifically made this slide so that, I can talk to the gents. If your wife or your girlfriend asks you, does this dress makes me look fat? And you pause, well, it's not going to end well for you. So don't try this at home. Effective pause management is what we need to learn. You need to know when to pause, you need to know where to pause, and you need to know how to pause. And that's exactly what we are going to discuss. When to pause, where to pause, and how to pause. Okay? So, when to pause? Well, this one should be fairly simple. If you want to emphasize on a certain word or point that you are talking. I'll repeat. When you want to emphasize on your point. You see what I did? I just paused a little before I said the word emphasize. Hear me again. You should use pause management when you want to emphasize on your point. Okay? What else? Well, when you want to recall what you have to say, collect your thoughts and then speak. Or if you are in a team meeting or in an office setup wherein everybody has joined in and you're speaking as a speaker, if you hear applause or laughter, then of course you want to pause. Okay? And towards the end, if you want the message to sink in. I'll repeat that. If you want the message to sink in. You see what I did again? This is the most simplest way that you can teach and you can learn, okay? Just see how I'm doing it and copy it. So now we know when to pause. Let's move on to where to pause. Simple again, punctuation. If you're reading from a script, then of course you know when to pause. But while speaking, of course, you need to use punctuation marks, which sometimes we don't. But how would you put a comma in your head? Well, using the right pauses. Okay. Replacing fillers instead of saying or try and use pauses helps you. And most importantly, when you want to think. But how long should you pause? Well, statistically, not more than 1 to 2 seconds, especially when you're making an eye contact. Don't pause for more than 1 or 2 seconds, or don't look at the person for more than 1 or 2 seconds. It would make them feel uncomfortable. That is how you use pause management. Got it? We learned when to pause, where to pause, and how to pause. Now, most important topic, breathe. How does this help? Well, simple. Breathing, although is a subconscious function, it's one of the most powerful one when it comes to controlling the rate of speech down or calming you down, or you need to relax. It not only enhances your articulation by controlling all of the above that I just spoke about, but also keeps you alive. So keep breathing. So next time, when you need to go for that important official meeting, breathe. Feeling anxious? Breathe. Need to calm yourself down? Well, you know what I just said. Breathe. Do this simple exercise. Sit on your chair, keep your back straight, close your eyes and breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel your lungs getting filled by the air. Repeat this 8 to 10 times and you would see it brings your heart rate down as well. How? Well, it's fairly simple. This is because when you breathe deeply, it sends a message to your brain to calm down and relax. And your brain then sends those signals back to your body, and hence you feel relaxed and calm. It's fairly simple, isn't it? So, before progressing ahead, let's do a quick recap as to what we have done so far. We have just covered lead emotions. How? By making sure that we are calm from within and not depending on the outside factors. Number 2, by taking time to respond. Number 3, controlling our rate of speech. And number 4, breathing. It's that easy. Okay? It's going to take time, not because it's difficult, but because it is so simple. Alright? So I'll suggest to you, breathe and revisit this if you need to know how to lead your emotions one more time. But this is a sure short way that will help you to control your emotions. Coming up next, how to overcome prejudice. Overcome prejudice. Now, there are 4 points of overcoming our prejudices. Point number 1, being open to new opinion. Most difficult part for us humans sometimes is to unlearn and to be open to others' opinion. Let's face it, we are opinionated beings. Each one of us has his or her opinion, and they shape not just our mindset, but also how we view and perceive things to be. It is these opinions that sometimes makes us prejudiced against something or someone. Overcoming this, I must tell you, is not easy. However, it is not impossible either. Being open to new opinion doesn't always mean you agree to others' opinion. However, it provides you with the reasons and views of the other person. It makes the other one feels heard and in turn open doors for you to be heard too. All of this makes communication easy and in turn releases the tension, which in turn makes you articulate better. It makes you open to new learning and makes you stronger in the process. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, an open mind is a strong mind. Point number 2, listen both ways. To make it simple, it primarily means ensuring that you understand the point of view of your listener as well. देखिए, ये बहुत ध्यान से करना होता है. It has to be done with a lot of care, because हम लोग मोस्टली चाहते हैं कि हमें सुना जाए और जो हम बोल रहे हैं उसको अहमियत दी जाए. But most of the time, we fail to effectively articulate because we just want the person to listen to us and not the other way. As we assume sometimes that we know more here than anybody. Because, well, probably he's your junior or you're talking to a child. What does he know? This is another form of prejudice, stereotyping. If we want to master the art of articulation, we need to be able to talk to any and everybody regardless of what their background is. Only then can you effectively express. Make sense? Okay, moving on. Assess your own biases. Now, this is the most easiest one of all. See, all it requires is reflection on how you look at the following, which I'm about to say. Number 1, genders. Do you think men and women are equal as partners? Should they be, or you think otherwise? What about racism or beauty biases? Only fair and lovely for me. You may be aware that psychologically it plays on how you articulate over certain matters and also adds hurdles while communicating. So assess yourself. Again, assess your own biases. And then refer to the first 2 points and you know what to do. Number 4, you are accountable. Well, most of us before this learning did not know that we are or we were prejudiced. However, it is the truth that each one of us, including me, had some biases. What we must know and accept that we are responsible for our prejudices. One may say society or the environment or family or social norms have shaped us this way. However, we each are responsible and accountable for our prejudices. And if we truly want to be in a place where we master our articulation, then we must work on this as well. We need to overcome our prejudices by following these 4 points that I just told you. Okay? And with these points, we have completed how to overcome prejudice in our lives as well. Why we need to do that? So that we can speak better, and not just better, ladies and gentlemen, but speak to impress and impress to succeed. So, with that, we have covered 2 important points. Lead emotions, and number 2, overcoming prejudice. Let's move on to learn from our experience. Learning from your experience, or rather, learn from your past. Most people think and believe that the purpose of our memory is to remember the past, but that's not the purpose of the memory. The purpose of your memory is to extract out the lessons from your past and to structure your future. We need to use and see the past as it is, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a gold mine. Yes, your past is a gold mine. It tells us the mistakes and learning from the last time we tried to articulate and couldn't. We need to learn from it and use it to our advantage. Don't feel ashamed or embarrassed. We learn more from our mistakes than from our success. So don't let your experience tell you that you will not be able to do this again, since last time when you tried, you failed. It's not going to be your future. See, now you have the right tools, you have the right mindset, and you are going to be a master speaker. You are going to learn and conquer this language. The key is consistency and continued learning. And also attending mastermind classes. Don't forget that. Number 2, how can I make my past a gold mine, or dig data or dig gold from my past? Well, simple. Challenge the perception. Well, I've had a lot of people tell me that perception is a reality. I don't believe it one bit. Perception becomes a reality if not challenged. So if you couldn't speak or communicate effectively, to your boss or your peers or your family or your friends, they would have made a perception about you, but that is not your final picture. If you practice and work hard, you can and you will change this perception. See, all these experiences are to make you stronger and not weaker. So only way to overcome this perception is to challenge it. Now, only this time, we are not going to challenge it with our fists and kick, but with our words. Yes, we can challenge your perception and change it too. So don't shy away from using what you have learned. You are the only one who can challenge it, and you are the only one who can change it for yourself. So don't wait for it, okay? Next time when you get an opportunity, go guns blazing. All right? Okay. Number 3, focus on the goal. See, over, our period of time, you may have discovered disappointments from your past, and everybody does. When you tried to speak and failed, or you couldn't express due to limited vocabulary, I have been there. And agreed, they are real challenges. I've had a lot of failures in which I couldn't speak, I had limited vocabulary, I embarrassed myself. I have gone through it all by myself as well. So if I can do this, so can you. I have been utterly embarrassed, and I'm not kidding. I'm telling you for a fact, I have been utterly embarrassed. Okay? However, I kept my focus on my goal, and that is what I'm trying to tell you too. Keep your focus on the goal, and your goal is to be able to speak, to impress, and impress to succeed. That's our goal. And as long as you have breath in you, my friends, keep trying till you get there. Let's face it, we have all but to gain. So focus on your goal and not on your disappointments. So we have now come to the last segment of articulation. Now, what have we covered so far? We have covered the concept. We now know what articulation is. We now know what shapes it. We now also know how to reshape our mindset. Okay? Last leg is left, which is greet and meet. But before that, I want you to go back, recollect what we have done, about what we have covered in articulation, and write down 3 important things that you have learned, 3 new things rather. 3 new things that you have learned in the comment section below. Okay? Pause this video, write down 3 things that you have learned in the comment section. And I will see you in the next video, in which we'll talk about greet and meet and elevator pitch. Greet and meet is important so that you learn how, when you meet new people, how should you introduce yourself, or how would you introduce someone to your boss. I'll see you there.